is No World for Tomorrow with Swansea University. Lyle is a creative director who specialises in digital fiction, stories that are written for and to be read on computer, phone or tablet. The digital fiction you're about to hear is part of this series of workshops and will be read by the author Lyle and her colleague Jennifer.
Okay, I think I've unmuted myself now. Hi, I'm Lyle. Jennifer, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yep. Hi, I'm Jennifer, and I have Greta keeping an eye on me.
Oh, lovely. Okay, we have just a couple of slides to show you, and I think that they'll be pretty straightforward. And then we'll jump straight into reading the story that we're going to do. So I am going to bring these up, and I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see what I'm talking about. Here we go. All right, Jennifer, can you see that?
I can indeed.
Okay, fab. And I'm going to present. Apologies, this title slide doesn't have Jennifer's name on it, but you'll see Jennifer's information if you go to unco2.org. And I'm just going to play a brief video here just to give a background on the science of climate change and the background to a little bit of the background to what we teach when we teach UNCO2.
I can't hear that, Lyle.
You're not getting the audio?
No, I'm not getting the audio.
Hiya, when you click on your screen share, there's some tick boxes at the bottom that allow you to share computer sounds. Make sure you've got those activated.
Okay.
You stop your share and start again.
I have too
Sometimes
many
it's reassuring that even tech geniuses can't work
I have
things.
too many things full screen. Okay. So
Do you want me to give an overview?
Yeah, go ahead. There we go.
An off the top of my head overview. Okay, we're improving here, but I hope I know my science. Okay, so what we have in the world is a lot of carbon dioxide, which is a gas, and many other things. So carbon dioxide is generated when we burn things called fossil fuels. So things like methane or coal or oil. So you might do that in your house when you turn on your heating. And we also burn oil all around the world to put in our cars. And so the carbon dioxide that comes out basically creates this nice blanket around the world. And carbon dioxide as a blanket around the world is actually a really good thing, because without it, I think the global temperature would be about minus 20 degrees centigrade. And that sounds cold. And even Lyle, who likes being cold, would not like it that cold. So a little bit of carbon dioxide around our atmosphere as a blanket is a really, really good thing to have. We like that. The trouble is that when humans all discovered fossil fuels a while back, so back in 1850, we were like, hey, these are awesome. We started burning more and more and more, and we started making our blanket thicker and thicker and thicker. And when you have a really thick jumper on in a really warm house, you start to sweat, you feel uncomfortable. And as humans, we have the option to take our jacket off. You know, we can moderate our own temperature. And the Earth has all these amazing systems where it can moderate its temperature to a certain point. So it can do things to make the heat move around. The trouble is our carbon dioxide blanket has got so thick that the Earth is really uncomfortable and it's acting out. It's going, I am really unhappy. There is too much blanket around me. You guys have to quit. And so this is why we're seeing things like the ice caps melting. We're seeing rising sea levels, and some islands are really worried that they're going to go underwater. We're seeing changes in temperature. So I have some spring bulbs at the moment out in my garden that are trying to grow because they already think it's spring, because the weather's just been so strange. And this is all affected by this is all climate change in action. And so one of the things that we can do is just look around us and go, hey, what's really weird that's going on? Like my bulbs coming up or raspberries growing.
Okay, are you ready for the video?
Oh, you've got it working.
Am I somehow nothing is working? Can you hear me?
Did you push play on the video?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
The UN says that right now, our world is about 1 degree hotter than pre-industrial times. That's around the year 1800, which is okay. In fact, the UN says if we warm by 1.5 degrees before the end of the century, we should be fine. The UN even says 2 degrees would probably be all right. But again, the problem is speed, because right now, we're on track to hit 1.5 degrees in only 10 years. And if we don't slow that warming down, it could mean catastrophe within my lifetime, and maybe yours too. And we're already getting a taste.
Climate change is here. Climate change is happening. We are well into the 6th mass extinction event.
Europe is currently colder than the Arctic.
More than 1,000 people being rescued just in the early morning hours of Sunday.
Millions of people are likely to suffer worsening food and water shortages.
Drought, which is now in its 10th year, is a phenomena that's here to stay.
We've never seen a year's worth of rain in less than 7 days.
Sea levels are rising about 3 millimeters a year because seawater expands as temperatures get warmer. Melting ice sheets and glaciers also add trillions of tons of fresh water into our oceans. People around the world are already losing their homes. And if things carry on, millions more of us will have to pack up too. Entire coastal cities could be underwater within 80 years, like Miami in the US or Osaka in Japan. Entire island nations in the Pacific could completely disappear.
Natural disasters becoming more and more intense, more frequent, with more devastating consequences. The dramatic impacts of drought in different parts of the world, all this is creating a situation that is a real threat to humankind, and we are not doing enough.
If 99% of doctors said to you, take this medicine or you will get really sick and probably die, you would take it. Who wouldn't take it? The problem is, at the moment, we don't have any medicine.
Now, there is a plan to slow all this down. Back in 2016, world leaders signed the so-called Paris Agreement. And the big pledge is to cap temperatures rising by 1.5 degrees or a maximum of 2 before the year 2100. So countries set their own targets on how much CO2 they emit. But here's the thing, 3 years after the agreement, global CO2 levels are still going up.
CO2 emissions have been going up the last year by 2%, so that's actually above the average of the last 10 years. So it's started to increase again, and it doesn't look too good.
In some ways, we're going backwards.
The United States will cease all implementation of the non-binding Paris Accord and the draconian financial and economic burdens the agreement imposes on our country.
The US, one of the world's biggest polluters, has pulled out of the Paris deal. Russia and China are accused of not giving themselves ambitious targets in the first place. Turkey and Poland want to build more power plants that use coal. And then there's the skeptics.
It's a political decision that there is man-made global warming.
Forced the computer models to say, aha, human influence, CO2 and other stuff.
The ground-based temperature data has been massaged to show an increase, but the satellite data shows no increase.
On the other hand, there is positive momentum. There's more awareness, and some countries are making progress. India, Morocco, and the Gambia have massive renewable energy projects.
There are different countries doing things successfully. So some countries are, for example, making all public transport free in the cities. What a great way to encourage people out of their cars.
But experts say what's needed now is an even bigger push to change everything about the way we run our world.
Business as usual has got to change. Politics as usual has got to change. In order to combat that, we have to change the system that has allowed it to happen. You can't have infinite growth on a finite planet.
And everyone can do that by shifting to renewable energy, reducing the use of cars, use train more, cycle more, eat less meat, consume a bit more carefully.
So where does that leave us? Well, there's only so much bike riding and light bulb replacing that you and I can do every day. But the truth is that it's those everyday things that are going to change anyway. Even coffee could run out if farmers can't grow it. So the expert advice is that it's down to all of us to change our ways and shake things up, or climate change is gonna do it for us.
Okay, so that ends with this note of hope that we actually can do something about it. And this project, we actually combine.
The UN says that right now our
don't want her again. So we have 3 workshops that we teach in schools, and I'm not going to get into a lot of detail about these because these are all available on our website, and I'm sure that we want to get to reading the interactive digital narrative that we have to read for you today. But we start off with a little bit of a calculation of carbon footprints and how all the chemistry and the environmental science of climate change works, and how we can measure our contributions to it and reduce those contributions. And then we do what we're about to do, which is we read this story game or interactive digital fiction, where there's different endings, there's different ways we can figure out how to take action, and we think about that. We think about the ways that the story reflects on our own world. And then students get to make their own stories. So if you are interested in making your own story, we do have tutorials and examples on our website that you can go and see anytime you want, including after today. So I'm going to switch over to the actual story now, and view it in full screen so that you can see everything. And this is what it looks like when we go to play it. So I'm actually going to play the version that's on a touch screen. It's just slightly different mechanics. It means that there's not going to be a lot of audio shouting at us randomly. So here we go. So here you go. Take better care of it in the future, eh? Montoya hands you your new Calm ID. After this, it's going to cost you a week of energy rations to get a new one. You nod and take the slim device from him, happy to have its familiar weight back in your palm. You strap it to your hand and it purrs contentedly, waiting for you to set it up. Hello, I am so pleased to meet you. What would you like me to call you? And here I'm going to call on Jennifer because this is where we fill in information. What's your name? What do you want me to fill in here, Jennifer?
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. SpongeBob's pronouns?
Let's go with he, him.
All right. Who are your most frequent contacts?
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Pronouns?
Let's go with they, them.
Yeah, we're not quite sure which way, how Godzilla identifies. All right. Next.
Banana Man.
Can tell you have a young child. Pronouns?
He, him.
And the last one?
Lucy.
Lucy. Pronouns? She, her. All right, so we're going to continue. Hi, SpongeBob. Please check your information. Your name, SpongeBob. He, him. Your closest contacts are Godzilla, they, them, Banana Man, he, him, and Lucy, she, her. Are these all correct?
These are correct.
They are correct. Okay. So we've got student mode is turned on. Difficult words and phrases appear in green. If you click or tap on them, I'm going to move my little box here. They will explain themselves and their pronunciation. So there's a little hint. You can try it here. So here I'm going to
pronunciation.
Click on this because it tells me
pronunciation.
How to pronounce that word, and it gives me an alternate if it's a little bit difficult of a word for me to read. If you would like to turn the audio off, you can click on the speaker icon in the upper right hand corner, and I'm actually going to do that because it would interfere with the reading. Different kinds of links in blue, so we'll click on this. Oh, it changes to aqua, turquoise, teal, and back to blue. And orange do different things, so explore to see what they do. I know what they do, so I'm going to click on orange and we're going to go forward. Your Calm ID rumbles gently in your palm. A message. From Lucy, you got your comm ID yet? Holding lunch for you. And SpongeBob replies, on my way. And I can continue. Your stomach gurgles and you trot off on foot to Delta Mess, where you all meet every day for lunch. Jennifer, is there anything on this screen that you want to click on?
Well, I think the blue might give us some scrolling text.
Okay. Okay, so we have some options here. We can jump a monorail instead of trotting off to Delta Mess. We can snag a solo port. Or we're back to going on foot. Which one would you like?
I think the solo port sounds fun.
Okay, solo port. All right, there we go. Where you all meet every day for lunch. Let's go to lunch. You make it to Delta Mess in time to wolf down a quick snack with everybody. You opt for a salad and find everyone in the midst of a debate about your favorite topic, Earth 2.0. Godzilla shifts over to make room for you. It doesn't just end there, right? They say. Who knows? Banana Man shrugs. We haven't had anything new from down there in like 3 lunar days. You settle your lunch at the table. Earth 2.0 doesn't work on our calendar, dummy. Godzilla gestures with their chopstick. No way it's over. They can't just leave everything hanging like that. It's probably some kind of glitch, you say, as you dodge the jabbing stick. I mean, it's not like everyone down there has disappeared suddenly, right? Your friends fall silent, exchanging glances. Is there something they know that you don't? You notice the clock and jam what remains of your lunch in your bag, saying, come on, lay off. Earth is still down there. Let's go back to school. Everybody mumbles some kind of agreement, and you all head out. Jennifer, what options would you like me to click on this page?
Well, I think we need something other than a salad for lunch. I'm a bit hungrier than that.
Oh, me too. Okay. So the options, the rare all beef hamburger, a hard boiled egg, which might not be much more than the salad, a veggie burger.
Ooh.
Let's see. Oh, a prepackaged protein bomb.
That's what I was waiting for.
Oh, you want that prepackaged okay, there we go. All right, what next?
Okay, so what happens if we click on Earth 2.0 because that's orange?
Ah, okay. We have an advertisement. You can't breathe the air. You can't farm the land. You can't drink the water. Earth 2.0. With no habitable environment remaining, the last generation of humans enters their final refuge, machines. To preserve all that is left of humanity, a handful of lovable geniuses upload their consciousnesses to virtual reality and hope that their combined intelligence can someday return them to the real world. Plug in to Earth 2.0 on your VR system. Updates weekly. All right, so this is something that it seems that our characters are all very much into and very eagerly debating and talking about. Okay, what next?
So what else do we do after lunch?
Okay, we can go to school. We can go somewhere else, chat about things. It's a little bit slow. Maybe we should ask Jen to at dinner. I gotta go to work. So
we've got
go
school
somewhere else
or work.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to work.
Okay. So we all head out. Everybody splits up after lunch, some to work and some to school. Now that you're all 16, you split your time between lessons and rotating through the various job posts in Metra. You've been preparing to move on to engineering after a 4-week cycle through communications. You like both of these areas for different reasons. In comms, you get to know people, how they work, how they think, what they like. You also get to work with the mainframe, which gives you more time to work on your VR simulations. In engineering, though, you get to play with new solutions to ever-present problems, like why that one solar panel seems to collect more ice and dust than all the others, reducing its efficiency and thus everyone's energy rations. You've been mulling this over for weeks. But you won't get a chance to try out any of the solutions you've come up with. Instead of sending you into the deeps to engineering, your Calm ID informs you your new rotation is in textiles, not engineering. Strange. You go where you're told. After all, there are engineering problems in sorting out the best ways to stay warm in space. Determined to ask some questions about it at dinner.
Okay, so we've got lots to click on. So I'm going to guess that the dinner is going to take us on in the story, but job posts and the deeps might tell us a few things about what else is going on. So let's find out about job posts.
Okay. You are correct. With only a thin engineered frame between everyone you know and cold, dark space, every single person in the colony needs to know how everything works. One day, you might specialize in one or the other, but you'll always have basic rotations through all areas: agriculture, maintenance, textiles, personnel, communications, engineering, medical, and health systems. Okay?
It's always something I think we need more of in the world, rather than just in your story. Anyway, right, the deeps. Let's find out what the deeps is all about.
Okay. All right. Unlike Earth, the moon has no atmosphere and thus no natural shielding from radiation, solar flares, or space debris. The first settlers on the moon chose to begin their settlements underground in the network of caverns and pits carved by previous generations' mining operations. When your parents' generation moved Metra to the surface, the deeps were converted mainly to storage and engineering and agriculture bays. Vast stretches of them were abandoned altogether.
Mm.
Kind of a
Sounds
fun
like a
place to
place
go
to
if you
go
want to
hide.
skive off.
I was thinking hiding, you were thinking skiving. Right. Okay, so we've clicked on all the orange things, so let's go to dinner.
Okay. No one ever eats alone on Metra. Breakfast is something pre-made with the fam at home. And if lunch is for buddies, pals, amigos, then dinner is a community undertaking. It's more efficient to feed everyone all at once, and Metra's unofficial motto is: a potato wasted might mean you starve in 10 years. The dining hub is always packed at dinner time, thrumming with conversation about the days, the one just passed and the next to come. As it has been for weeks, most chats center on the lack of news from the mother planet. You dig into your dinner, wondering if it seems a little light this evening. Before you can ask, a brief electronic beep signals an announcement.
So we've got green writing now, so we can find out what they mean. I think thrumming is, I like it, it's onomatopoeic, but let's investigate it.
All right. Buzzing is our alternative word there.
Okay, should we see what our announcement is?
Okay. The familiar voice of Rhiannon, a Gen 1 senator, bursts through the cafeteria bubble, as well as a couple of outdated comm IDs nearby, giving her a strangely mechanic echo. The hubbub fades. Attention, everyone. As many of you are aware, we are having some communications difficulties with our contacts on Earth. Not just our contacts, you hear a Gen 3 nearby mutter. All the old planet is dead. Rhiannon continues over them. In light of these issues, the Senate has agreed on a cautious course should supply shipments be disrupted. We are temporarily decreasing energy and nutrition allotments. You've already cut allotments to 75%. This shout comes from one of Godzilla's parents. More shouts, grumbling. A few Gen 3s get into it, pounding the tables with dinnerware. Rhiannon eyes you like you are unruly school children, then lets another announcement beep sound. Only this time at 10 times the volume. Everybody flinches. Again, this is temporary, Rhiannon says, her voice clipped. You all know very well the tenuous balance we maintain here in Metra, and our inexperience of existing without aid from the home planet. I'm sure you'd rather mild discomfort now over starvation. With that, she taps her Calm ID out of announcement mode and leaves the cafeteria. In her wake, the cafeteria erupts.
Oh!
Grumble, grumble, grumble. All right.
Okay.
What options do we want to click here?
So we've heard a bit about these Gen 1s, Gen 2s, and Gen 3s. Sounds like penguins. Let's find out what they are.
All right. You don't know who started numbering the gens like this, but at some point it stuck. Gen 1 are the pioneers, the first settlers on Earth's moon, building a settlement they came to call Metra. They were 500 persons, carefully selected from all around the Earth for their intelligence, hardiness, health, and resilience. The early days were treacherous. Only 50% of them lived to form families. When they did, they created Gen 2. They also created a lot of rules. No more than one replacement child per parent. All Metrons rotated through all workstations on a regular basis, for the sake of redundancy. If a disaster hits, everyone needs to know how to do all essential jobs, just in case. They formed a Senate as a representative republic. They made the Metra that you know as home. Gen 2 are your parents. They were born on Metra, but they were raised on Gen 1's Tales of Earth. They believe in Earth. They call it home, even though they've never set foot on it. They moved Metra from the safety of the deeps to the somewhat bigger skies of the surface. You're all still under protective bubbles, but at least you can see the stars and Earth. You are Gen 3. You call Metra home. To you, Earth is a fairy tale. What you will be is yet to be seen. It lies in the decisions you make and the actions you take.
I love that line every time. Like that we can always change our futures. We just have to make decisions now and hope,
I
Anyway,
like
I'm
hope.
getting okay, let's have a look at tenuous.
All right, tenuous or shaky.
Ooh. So we get two options.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Right. So we've had Gen 1s, we've had Gen 3s, we've explored some of the green. Let's have an erupting cafeteria.
All right. Before you know it, Metra is alive with protests. Your comm ID lights up with general comms from everybody and anybody. You silence it, drifting to the back of the cafeteria to watch. You think maybe it's time to get out of here.
I think we need to see that comm ID because I was expecting actual protests. Come on.
We have to fight this. Don't listen to them. The Senate is playing us. Metra equals oligarchy. Fight now. What are our actual stores? Is this warranted? If Earth is dead, so are we.
It's like a WhatsApp group gone nuts.
It is. How did these people become our leaders? We've been running out of stores for months, believe it. Community meeting 0900 at RecPod. I urge caution. Panic never solved anything. Overthrow the Senate. I want to see the stores for myself. Anyone else?
Ooh.
Lies. They just want to control us. Senate should have seen this coming. There are no shortages. Everyone settle down. It's a temporary measure. Where is Earth? Sleep on it. Come to the meeting. 0900 at RecPod. This should go to a general vote. Will Senate be at the meeting? Our voices should be heard. What about our kids? Oh, and that's the end of that. So there's some definite panic in there. All right, and
okay,
protests.
so we have to figure out what to do now.
Yeah.
So what can we do apart from drift?
We can join in with the angry shouting.
Sounds like fun. Okay. No, next. Sorry.
We can open up your notes, our notesware, to jot some ideas on how to save food and fuel. Message our friends about what might really be going on. We can try to calm the people around us down.
Doesn't sound very hopeful.
No.
Okay, is that drift?
That's it,
So
yeah.
we can drift, we can shout, There's no exploring to be done, but we could talk to our buddies. Let's talk to the friends and see if they decide to go and explore.
Let's see, where was that one? There we go.
There.
Message your friends? Is that what we're...
Yeah, and get out of here.
So let's get out of here. Okay, more messages from SpongeBob. Something's up. You all buying this? Banana Man says, don't do anything nuts. Godzilla says, I want to do something nuts. Of course, Godzilla. Then Lucy says, I don't buy it, but it's not like there's anything we can do about it. And SpongeBob says, wanna bet?
What do they do?
On we go. You follow Banana Man's advice and decide to do something only a little nuts. You monorail to the deeps. If you were going to hide anything, you think, it would be in the deeps. There are nooks and crannies in there that probably no one other than Gen 1s have ever seen, despite all your exploring. You take a route that you've never seen anyone else use. It's pretty quiet. This late, most everyone is home or out protesting the cuts. You dodge one Gen 3 who looks to be snoozing while on guard duty. Even so, it takes some looking to find what they've been hiding.
Okay, I think we should snag a solo port because we don't want anyone to see where we're going.
Okay, so it's walk, it's solo port. Okay, excellent. All right, and we'll go see what they've been hiding. All right. So SpongeBob says, Gen 1 is routing supplies to build a shuttle. Godzilla, pics or it didn't happen. Banana Man, a shuttle to Earth? And we actually see the pics where they're building a shuttle. All right. Lucy says, no way, we're going back to Earth? Banana Man says, don't be daft, that's just a legend. Godzilla tells them Metra doesn't have the scope to build this, not without Earth's help. SpongeBob says, we haven't heard anything from Earth in months. Banana Man says, then Metra's resources are being wasted on a pipe dream. We got to do something, says SpongeBob. That community meeting tomorrow at 0900. Godzilla says, I'm in. Lucy says, yeah. And Banana Man's in too with an okay. All right. You sneak back out of the deeps and go home. You shower before dropping off to sleep. Your alarm set for that 0900 meeting, which apparently started at 0800. People are in full shouting and argument mode. Clearly, most had used up their scant caffeine rations to stay upset throughout the night. They take little notice of you as you push your way to the front of the crowd. You tire of waiting for a lull so you can capture everyone's attention. Instead, you blast the pictures you took in the deeps last night to the general Metra bulletin. A hush falls as people begin to check their comm IDs. You stand on a bench and shout, they're real. I took them last night in the deeps. Gen 1 is funneling energy and supplies into building a shuttle. All right, this has gone far enough. Rhiannon, flanked by 3 other Gen 1 Senate members, moves to stand in front of you. No structures are built that are not part of public plans for Metra. No supplies are being squandered. We are simply being conservative while we wait to see whether or not Earth will return. So why isn't anyone being scheduled to work engineering? You ask her. Is this true? She turns to face the crowd. A few shrug, but no one confirms your statement. Rhiannon steps forward. Xin Li in comms tells us it's likely a technical issue sparked by recent solar activity. All this worry is for nothing. We'll be back to normal in a few days, that's all. Her assurances fracture the crowd. People drift off despite your repeated attempts to recapture their attention. Banana Man and Godzilla find you and you lean into Banana Man. She's lying, you tell them. They just don't want to see. It's easier not to, Banana Man says quietly. That way they don't actually have to do anything. Godzilla hesitates. You're sure about that shuttle, they ask? Banana Man frowns at them. I believe SpongeBob. We believe him. Godzilla sighs. So what do we do about it? You eye the last of your fellow Metrons as they drift away, unfettered. We either take the risk of bringing down the Senate, or we do what we can to make Metra as efficient as possible.
Okay, I'm going to defer to Lyle here because we've had a message saying we only have 8 minutes to go, and I can't remember how much of the story is left.
We're good.
We need a quick option.
We're either one are equally quick.
Okay. Let's bring down the Senate!
All right, bring down the Senate. Excellent. All right. Taking down the ruling class and keeping your small world alive is going to be no small feat. They created the systems for all parts of your life, from school to job rotations to what you eat and where you live and how you play. The first step is to make some big changes in your own life, from what you eat to how you get around and spend your time. Your lifestyle is very costly when it comes to using up Metro's resources. How can you improve the system if you're exploiting it just like Gen 1 is? Walk more, eat more veg than meat, and use fewer energy-rich activities. The next step is to rally for global change. You think about your classmates, your friends, your siblings. Unlike Gen 1, you never knew Earth. You have no reason besides myth and history to want to go back to a planet they killed anyway. Gen 2 trusts their parents, have always trusted them, to do what is right for Metra. It's easier to follow along. They have enough to worry about, what with work and kids and some elderly Gen 1s to watch after. No, it's Gen 3 who can make the difference. You, Godzilla, Banana Man, and Lucy work together. You gather evidence of the shuttle and the supply drains. You expose the self-centered Gen 1s destroying your home for what they are. You vote them out of office. You run for their offices. You make Metro the permanent settlement it was always supposed to be, not just some temporary holding cell. In time, you will build spaceships in the open and with the right resources so your children and their children can explore the solar system for new settlements. You didn't get Metra into this situation, but you will get it out. And there we have our ending. We can play again or we can exit the game. I think we'll exit because we are close to time. And I'm going to stop sharing so that I can actually see what time it is, and chat a little bit with Jennifer about that particular story. I haven't seen that particular branch in a little while. We actually chose an interesting branch that I haven't seen in a little while because there are many possible endings. What did you think of that? What were the bits that spoke to you?
Well, you've made me cry.
Oh,
Sat behind my glasses. I just love that idea that, because so often it feels like our future is fixed, and especially with the first part of the video that you showed us about climate change already happening, it can feel like we're stuck in this cycle. And even though I'm a grown-up, sometimes I feel like I don't have enough power, and I spend a lot of my time thinking about what can I change, or what can I help with, or what can I influence. And being reminded in the story that we can make decisions and they have different outcomes is really important, and that we might make a wrong decision, but it doesn't mean that somewhere else in the story we can't correct our decision. And so actually nothing is fixed, and as long as we keep trying, we're doing the best that we can. And that message of hope at the end, like, you know, other people may have made decisions for us in the past, but we have the power to do things now, or we will have the power to do things, and we can take that opportunity. I love being reminded of that.
Excellent. Well, good. I mean, I think I like the notion that, yeah, we have some personal responsibility and we need to do things, but also it's all of us. It's not just me. It's not just that, oh, I drove, somewhere, or I had a hamburger or something like that. Yes, we all need to make conscious choices and think about our impacts on the environment, but also we need to make sure that we're telling other people, governments, businesses that we buy from, are you buying local? Did your hamburger meat come from the farmer down the road or a farmer in South America? That makes a difference too. And so holding our governments and corporations and businesses accountable as well is really important. And actually, I'm going to leave you with the calls to action. So I will share again. Apologies.
Can I just jump in for one?
Yep, and I'll just show the slides while you chat.
Yeah, so that line about, you voted them out of office and you ran for their offices. And I know in Wales, we've just lowered the voting age to 16, and it's really exciting. It will be really exciting in the next round of elections to see what happens when we have teenagers voting. And so to use that power, and then you're in trouble there.
I keep pulling up the wrong slides.
Oh no.
I seem to have lost
Tech
it.
genius,
Keep going.
come on. Yeah, to be able to use that power to vote people out who are doing things that we don't want. And then also that idea that, we can have a younger generation of people in charge. And so one thing I did was run as a community councillor, and the board has all been, the councillors that are there at the moment have all been doing it for the last 50 years. And I've kind of come in with a new perspective. And so you're never too young, as long as you're over the legal age, you're never too young to go and run for office if that's what you want to do and really go and change things.
Yeah, and we just want to leave you with our final vision statement: the world where we no longer need climate change education, because we all balance our environmental impact with a sustainable Earth. And we're calling on everyone here to make one change in your life to reduce your carbon footprint, even a little one, and request that climate change education that we need from your teachers and parents. And our call to leadership is pass laws that make corporations responsible for balancing their emissions with global environmental health. And that's, I think, we're out of time. I think that's where we'll leave everyone.
Thanks for
having us.
having
Thank you very much.